Welcome into Around the Felt. I am your host, Reagan Loescher. Here with me today is my co-host, Colin Tong. Just two happy Jet fans as our team improves to 4-3. How about that huge win for us yesterday, huh?
You know, for those of you watching on YouTube, you can see me decked out in this ugly-ass green I got on. This is a sickening day.
Whoa.
It's a sickening day, and Reagan also decided to give me a Geno Smith jersey from when he was 18 before he hit puberty, so it barely fits me.
Actually, that's Garrett's jersey, but
It's
a great jersey. I was like, you know what? Why not give him someone that at least played on the Giants? I gave him a nice little Geno Smith jersey. That was my thought process. Not because it's a youth small or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, before we even get into that game, I am a very upset Giants fan. I will tip the cap to Reagan, even though he probably didn't have a choice. I'll tip the beanie. I brought him to the game, so, you know, if he would have talked shit to me, it would have been kind of a bit of a dick move, but he was pretty respectful as a fan.
Yeah, I didn't even wear any Jets stuff. That was part of the agreement.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. He wore a Yankees jacket.
Rooted for the Giants, actually.
Papa Tong was telling me if I were to wear any Jet stuff in the seats, I would not be allowed back at the Tong residence. And I was like, you know what? I go there too often to risk that, so...
Smart man.
I told him, I'm like, look, you're one of those parents that lets us come over too much. I'm not willing to put that on the line. I'm like, if you were one of those other parents that maybe don't let us come over every month, I'd probably risk it, so...
You're a smart man for that, Reagan. But we got a lot of news to break down, starting with some sad news. Kirk Cousins, torn Achilles, out for the year.
Yeah.
I think this marks the end of his time in Minnesota, unfortunately. Apparently the locker room was very shook up over it.
I mean, how could you not be? He's their leader, yeah.
Now, Reagan, what do you think they do at quarterback?
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I put in there, obviously, like, what do they do? And... I'm not really sure, because, I mean, the trade deadline's obviously tomorrow at 4
I heard
p.m.
there's rumors they might try to get Jameis Winston.
I mean, you would have to think they got to make some move, because they're 4-4 right now. Like, they're only, as of now, before the game tonight, because we're recording on a Monday before the Lions game, they're only a game and a half out of first place. So, to me, you have to make a move, because, obviously, like, this team is better than we thought. We were both kind of shitting on them in the beginning of the year.
They were 1-4, and now they've made a bit of a run here.
We were shitting on them in the beginning of the year. We're like,
I mean, Jaron Hall is
that's what I'm saying.
in line to start, a rookie who doesn't really have, you know, the passing pedigree of Cousins. His arm isn't nearly
straight
as
out of
talented.
BYU. He's an older guy, though. He's 25.
As all them BYU quarterbacks are, except for Zach. Zach's just different. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because if they rock with him, I don't see them really making a push for the playoffs.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel
the
like
NFC is wide open.
You got to make a move for a veteran, whether it's signing somebody or trading for somebody.
I already put in my claim for Jameis Winston on fantasy, so I'm banking on that trade happening. I'd love to see Jameis Winston slinging it to Jefferson and Addison.
For what league?
That'd be fun. My super flex. So you
you got to have clarity because I'm like, well, if you're in a 12-man,
you start
for the comedy aspect.
You start two quarterbacks. So
like, well, there's really no reason.
He wants to see him eat some W's first.
I got Herbert, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, and I do have Will Levis stashed, which we'll get into that. Will Levis looked very good in his first game.
Yes, we will.
My Giants traded Leonard Williams to the Seahawks for a second-rounder in 24 and a fifth in 25.
Huge deal for both teams, honestly.
Huge deal.
That's the deal I look at. That's
Seattle
a win-win.
Is now in first in the NFC West.
Yes, the team I predicted to win that division at the start of the year.
Crazy, with the Niners dropping 3 in a row. So they're loading up for this year, improving that defensive line. The Giants were able to get a second-round pick because they're eating most of Williams' contract. They're eating $9 of the $10 million for the rest of the season, so... Yeah. It probably would have been a third. They got a second because they're willing to take on that money. But I think it's a great deal for the Giants being at 2-6. You're not going to bring back Leonard after the season anyways. And I wouldn't be surprised if they move Adoree Jackson as well because he's in a similar position where expensive cap hit this year. Clearly they're not bringing him back next year because he hasn't played that well. You have a lot of young guys in the secondary. Get your draft picks and move on.
Yeah, I mean, not much else to say outside of for Seattle side of the ball. I mean, that's huge for that defense because it's already a defense that I think is pretty good, and they've shown the past couple weeks they're one of the better ones in the league, so huge ad for them, especially in the run game.
Absolutely, and that's where Leonard is best in the run game. His pass rushing ability isn't the same it once was when the Giants first signed him to that mega deal. Leonard actually had the biggest cap hit this year for a non-quarterback in the league, which is not good. Just thank you, Dave Gettleman, but
yeah, definitely not. I mean,
but I love Leonard Williams. All the best to him. He was here during the dark years, but. You know, he was a fan.
So he came in during the dark years, was here for one good year, and then he leaves in the dark years.
Yes, but he was a fan favorite. I mean, the guy plays.
No, he's a good guy. Yeah. Definitely is.
Other Giants news: Daniel Jones cleared, will play against the Raiders. Supposedly, he got cleared Sunday morning at around 11:30.
I want to see Danny DeVito again.
Was already Tommy DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
He was already ruled
Just
out.
combine them both
on Friday, even though he was cleared Sunday. It just sucks that they couldn't use him as an emergency quarterback. But at the same time, that's a very good Jets defense. You can't expect Tyrod to get hurt, and you're not going to throw Daniel Jones in 2 hours after getting cleared. You know, but
and especially
behind that terrible offensive line
and the weather too. Like it's not.
And the weather, it's a tough ass. I know a lot of
saw
Giants
how many
fans
injuries
are pissed
there
right
were
now.
yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, but a lot of Giants fans are pissed. I mean, come on, you're not going to throw Jones into that game. It just sucks, the timing of it. But at least he's cleared now. When we're 2-6 and season looks to be lost, but
it ain't over yet.
It ain't over yet. Grady Jarrett, torn ACL out for the season.
Huge loss for the
Falcons.
Huge
loss because the Falcons' defense has been playing really well. The combination of Jarrett and Calais Campbell, although they're both older players, have been playing very well.
Yeah.
For that front, tough loss for a team that's in the hunt to win their division. In other pass rushing news, Rashawn Gary signs a mega deal, 4 years. Up to $107 million extension. The Jersey Kid.
I will say, Alex Fischetti pancaked him back in the day. Every time, that's Alex Fischetti's favorite story. So, Alex Fischetti, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, congrats on pancaking a multimillionaire.
$100 million.
Yeah,
jeez, man.
More than multi-million.
Yeah, Rashawn Gary. I remember at Michigan,
eight-figure man.
He never really had the stats because he was a 5-star recruit, highly touted, come out of Paramus Catholic. Never really had the sack production, but. One of those guys that you bet on the upside, and he
was awesome at Michigan.
But he didn't get sacks, but he was very good in the run game. You bet on the traits, and similar to like how the Jaguars bet on Trayvon Walker because of the traits. Like this is the type of guy that you're hoping to get, and Rashawn Gary has cashed in. Tyreek Hill becomes the 4th player ever to have over 1,000 yards in the first 8 games, and Tyreek said, "I've been calling my shot since I got in the league." Reagan, does he get to 2,000 yards?
I mean, I would say yes, because he's already on pace for it and he gets the extra game. So, yeah.
I think he does.
He doesn't show a lot of signs of slowing down. I mean, we'll see if teams adjust in the second half, but...
That's the thing with a guy like this. There's no adjusting. Bill Belichick was the king at adjusting to him, and he still had a huge game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it also helps 17 games versus 16. So.
Yes, and it also helps when you have Jalen Waddle on the other side.
Yeah, that is true.
You can't put all your focus
towards Hill. And they have a good run game, too.
Yeah. The Cardinals will start either Kyler Murray or Clayton Tune in Week 9. Josh Dobbs is out as the starter.
Oh, baby.
Now, Reagan, it was being talked about that Kyler most likely back Week 10. I think it's interesting that they're giving him a shot to play Week 9 now.
We might get our Clayton Tune start, guys. I've been hyping this guy up.
Didn't you say Rookie of the Year?
I did say Rookie of the Year, and now we're gonna. And now it starts now.
He's got his chance.
Tell me, what a better story. I mean, the Cardinals 1-7 right now.
Looney Tunes.
They are who we thought they were.
Clayton Tune maybe leads them on a huge win streak. Ends the year at 10-7 after winning 9 straight. How do you not give him the Rookie of the Year?
Wow, that would be a crazy call.
400 yards a game.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Yeah.
Mr. Tune.
I could see it already.
Mr. Tune, sing me a tune.
Clayton Tune, Rookie of the Year.
Whoa, this guy's got bars. All right, the Bills have signed playoff Lenny. Now, this is interesting because Cook's played pretty well. They have Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I think it only affects Murray. I don't really think it affects Cook.
Yeah, it doesn't because Murray and Fournette kind of a similar play style. Fournette did have a ton of receiving yards last year, his career high, but that's just because Brady was dumping it off because they had no time to throw.
And it's not like they had many other viable options.
No, I mean he won't have that similar impact. Honestly,
there's a reason why he's been a
people
free agent.
People are going to be starting to hammer Leonard Fournette, picking him up on the waiver wire.
No, you definitely should pick him up.
I don't know if he's really going to have a
all it takes is for an injury to Cook, and then
I guess
I think he's a good stash.
But it's not like
wait
the
and see.
Bills also have like a dynamic run game already.
No, they don't. But I mean, starting running backs are few. So if you can get one on the waiver wires, it's a good stash. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely not burning my top waiver claim or a lot of fab on it.
Yeah, if I'm number one waiver claim, I don't know if Lenny's the guy I'm picking up.
No, definitely not. It's Jameis Winston. You already said it.
Yeah. Jameis Winston, baby, if you're in Superflex. Kendrick Bourne, torn ACL. The Patriots, it's well documented. They have no weapons for Mac Jones. Mac Jones takes a lot of heat.
One less weapon they got now.
One less weapon they have now. And with Juju being a non-factor, it's tough news for
Devontae
Mac
Parker
Jones.
also.
Yeah, Devontae Parker sucks, though. I said
Yeah.
it in the season. The guy gets no separation. And for a quarterback like
He's,
Mac Jones that doesn't make those big-time throws, it's just not really a
Juju
good mesh.
Smith got no separation on it. Like Kendrick
Well,
Bourne
his
was the only
knee, his
guy that
knee's
was
also
kinda-
like about to blow up. So
Yeah,
they
his
gotta,
knee.
They gotta be
The
careful. with that.
Patriots offense is in trouble. That's for sure. Other injury news, Kenny Pickett hurts his ribs, although Mike Tomlin did say he has a chance to play on Thursday.
I hope he does. I don't want to watch Trubisky.
No one wants to watch Trubisky.
I don't watch Trubisky.
No one wants to watch Trubisky.
No, thank you.
And Stafford sprained UCL in his thumb,
Day-to-day, though.
he's day-to-day.
Yeah.
Day-to-day, which for us Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua
Oh, gosh,
holders,
You're praying he's
please
good
God,
to go.
Matthew Stafford be okay. And that wraps up the news. Joe, what do we have for questions?
All right, start us off. Shawnee Moe wants to know.
He told me he was going to ask a funny
Hey,
question
Sean.
at the gas station.
Hey, Sean.
Don't
say hi to Sean?
This is not much of a
Hi,
funny,
Shawnee.
funny question. This is just a legitimate. Do you think Will Levis finishes off this season as a starter?
I'd say yeah. I mean, obviously Tannehill's not ruled out for the year, but
On
after
the trade block.
yeah, and after seeing what he just did, I don't see how they switch to Willis or go back to Tannehill. So I think as long as Levis is healthy, they stick with him the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, what a game from Will Levis.
4 touchdowns.
Not going to lie, I didn't watch because we were at Giants-Jets, but I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah, and he said as well as he played, he left a lot out there on the table. Like, he missed some easy throws where he could be more efficient, easier yards, because 3 of his 4 touchdowns were, like, big play,
Yeah,
like 30-yard
he was hitting
plus.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that
there's
one
those
that
ones
one
I
ball
saw
where he
on the
rolled out to the right and threw it all the way across the field for a
Yeah.
touchdown was just a sick throw. I mean, that just shows the arm talent that he has and why a lot of people thought he was going to be a top 10 pick this past year. And Levis has experience. Like,
And that's
I
why
believe
he's right here on the graphic too.
He is right in the middle. I believe
Huge week.
in those fly-ass uniforms. I believe
Yeah,
he's
those
like
are
23 years old, so he had a lot of college experience, so he's not like a raw prospect. Like, he can play. And we've seen Willis get his opportunity, and it looks like he can't complete a fucking throw.
Didn't do
Yeah.
that with his
So,
opportunities.
it's clear.
He was getting booed yesterday
Vrabel,
too.
yeah, which,
So,
I mean, not
Gonna
cool,
hurt
but
a guy's confidence that already has none,
yeah.
basically.
And I think Mike Vrabel knew after last year, after taking Willis in the 3rd round, he's not our long-term answer, so props to him for taking another quarterback this year in Levis in the 2nd round who slid. And, I mean, you know what Tannehill is. He's 35 years old. He's already beat up. The roster, yes, they won this game, but still it doesn't look like a roster that's going to be competitive in the AFC. You got to stick with Levis. You can't
Yeah.
go back to Tannehill now, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even if Tannehill's on the trade block, let's say they do trade him and it's him or Willis, I mean, they brought in freaking Dobbs last year. They clearly have no faith in
They
him.
have no faith in Willis.
No faith.
None at all.
So yeah, to answer that, Sean, they're gonna stick with Levis.
All right, next from Walmart, he wants to state out that he loves the content and been watching since episode 1. Keep it up, fellas.
Thanks,
real OG,
Walmart.
a real OG fan.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Walmart.
Walmart.
And who are the 5 best trade targets before a Dynasty League trade deadline, and what value would you give up for each guy?
Oh, I could say right off the
Oh,
bat, a good
wow.
one is Gus Edwards because he's an older guy who's not going to
Gus
have the
the
job.
boss.
He's
Yeah,
an
you
older
trying
guy
to
who's
think-
not going to have the job. He's going to cost cheap. I mean, like, what are you going to give up, a 3rd rounder, maybe a 2nd? Because you can make the case that he's not going to be the starter next year. He's older. I'm not sure his age, but I know he's older.
I think he's 28.
So he's coming off of an ACL tear last year. So
I have him stashed. He's starting for me next week.
I would say, yeah, if you're a team that's competing now,
Yeah,
and
he's 28.
and you see a team that's looking to stockpile picks, I don't see why a team would.
So you're thinking,
If you're in win now,
like,
trade
you're in
for
win
him.
now. Like, so say you're a team that's not going to win it. We're trading a vet, right? Because
Yeah,
I mean,
you said
obviously,
trade for targets. So
Yeah.
if you're making trades, you're probably
you're
trying
going
to
to
get
tag
guys that are
some
going to help
vets to help you
I
win
think he's
now.
talking about
That's-
from a team that
okay,
wants to
that's
win a
the way we're looking
championship.
at it. Yeah, that's
Because
good.
you're trading for them. Like if you're a bad team right now, you're only trading for young guys or picks.
Yeah, I mean, I'd target Cooper Kupp because he's had 2 rough games, which is very unlike him.
And he's older.
And he's older. He's 30 years old, off 2 poor performances. But come on, it's
You
Cooper
could say the
Kupp.
same thing with Devontae
And-
Adams too.
Yeah, and Devontae Adams. I mean, come on, these guys are elite receivers. They're going to hit their stride.
I'd say
And
Derrick Henry, too.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's another good one.
Especially with the uncertainty at the trade deadline and be like, oh, well, like, what if he gets traded and he goes to a worse situation? Or what if they keep him in Tennessee?
How about Alvin Kamara, Reagan?
Yeah, he's a guy I
missed the
traded
first-
away in Dynasty.
He missed the first 3 games, and he's RB6. He's gone 21, 18, 17, 29, 27, and 1-point PPR. He's 28 years old. I mean, I'd go after Alvin Kamara if he's on a bad team.
It's
as
tough
well.
to say, though, because I think you're going to have to pay a lot for his long-term value because of how good he's been, so it really depends. Because I traded him away and got Goddard in the first, so I'm happy with that. But, like, if I'm a team that's going for a win-now mode and a guy's like, oh, I want 2-3 first-rounders, like, that's not worth it. So I feel like you'd be paying an all-time high end for Kamara right now.
I'd also target Keenan Allen. He's 31 years old. He's wide receiver 6 right now.
Essentially, what we're saying is just go target guys that are older on where you don't think they're going to have a lot of years of relevancy left. So you kind of just got to make that case with the guy.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's a different story. Who are the 5 most valuable players? I mean, who's going to get the most compensation?
James Conner, too. James Conner would be
a good guy to target as well.
Guy in IR. Clearly, nobody's stepping up in that Cardinals backfield right now, so he looks like a guy when he comes back. And even Kyler. I mean, I would go out and try to get him.
I tried to trade for Kyler in my super flex.
Because you could just be like, look, the team's 1-7. Like, they're going to draft someone else. So
my buddy Ryan, fan of the show, I was like, yo, I want Kyler. And he's like, he did research on it. He goes, I think I just researched my way into keeping Kyler. Wow. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's brutal.
All right. Next off, we have a trivia question for you guys.
Trivia. I love it.
Trivia question. Okay.
What NFL team had the first fully televised season? There's actually, when I looked it up, 2 teams that had the first televised season, both in the same season in 1950.
Probably the Packers and the Bears, right?
Colin?
Those are the 2 that came to mind for me as well, but I'm going to go the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants.
Okay, guys, so 0 for 4.
Lions?
Televised, Lions? Like Hollywood.
Oh. Rams?
Rams and the Washington Redskins.
Interesting.
Wow. Cancel them. You don't say Redskins.
Yeah, I would have never guessed.
No, they want it changed back now.
Oh.
Actually, they're suing the NFL.
Uncancel his ass.
Yeah, I never would have guessed the Redskins, but...
Damn.
I thought Packers Bears popped him because those were like the iconic teams,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but good question. He would ask that because he's a fucking Washington fan.
Oh wow, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah, I should put that together.
He also has a punishment idea. We've been asked this before, but sit on TikTok Live for 10 hours straight discussing football topics.
10 hours straight on TikTok Live.
I mean, we could look into doing that. Just like something where it's like you can't really like.
Down the road. It's that's a long time for sure.
You can't really like put that.
So when I gotta take a leak, am I like bringing it with me to the bathroom?
I think so. Yeah.
10 hours.
I don't think you could just turn it off.
You could bring a cup or something to piss in her.
Yeah. Fucking blast the shit in a cup.
What the hell, man?
I don't know.
We've seen that video before.
No, show me that video.
Pause. Jeez, man. No, my goodness.
It could be both of you guys. You could redo it.
That sounds like a pretty cool punishment. What do you say, bud?
Oh, shit.
All right, change it up. We got Austin.
Austin. Hey, Austin. What the fuck?
All right, who is your guys' favorite to win the Super Bowl at this point in the season?
Great question, Austin.
It is a good question because the Chiefs were the favorite and they just lost to Denver.
I'm going with the Eagles. They were my team before the season to win the Super Bowl, and I'm going to stick with the Philadelphia Eagles. After that one hiccup against the Jets.
Who's the Super Bowl? Your matchup,
He didn't say that though.
Yeah, well, Joe's just asking. It's an open-ended question. He's asking you on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
come on. Do you not
who did I say before the season, or who am I saying they're beating in the Super Bowl?
Well, the question is at this point in the season. So,
all right. I guess right now I would say the Eagles would be beating. I'm going to stay with the Chiefs. Those have been the 2 best teams in my books right now.
Rematch.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm just going to stick with those teams, but I'd say the Eagles, outside of that one hiccup against the Jets, they've looked good. Hurts, even though he's got the bum knee, continues to produce. I mean, he's third in MVP voting right now. And A.J. Brown, I mean...
he should be above him in the MVP.
If it wasn't for...
It looks like
if it wasn't for Tyreek Hill, we'd be talking a lot more about A.J. Brown.
It's a 3-man race for Offensive Player of the Year, I think. Tyreek, A.J. Brown, Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I like that. You picked the 2 favorites, so good for you.
Thanks, man.
I picked Niners before the season. 3 games in a row they've lost. Actually, I picked them to win the NFC. I picked the Bengals to win it. And the Bengals are getting hot. Joe Burrow is healthy. He was using his legs. I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, you got to stick with it.
I'm going to stick with my Bengals. I think they're going to not run the table, but come very close to running the table. They do have the Bills next week on Sunday Night Football. Great game.
Go get it done, Bengals.
Huge
Go
game.
get a win.
I think they'll get it done. And I had Niners preseason, but the Eagles right now look like the best team in the NFC. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go Bengals
Especially after they
over
got Kevin
Eagles
Byard,
right
too.
now.
Getting Kevin Byard was huge for them.
Yeah, although I don't know if he played super well, but granted, he had 1 week to learn the
That's what I'm saying.
system.
Just
yeah.
like long term, that's a huge move.
It is. Howie Roseman. I don't think the Eagles are done. I think they make another move.
What do you got next, Austie?
Start, bench, cut, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, and Puka Nacua.
Oh, it's tough because now Kirk's out.
Well, rookie gang right there.
Start bench.
Yeah, I would've
cut,
gone
Jordan
Addison.
Nakua, and who was the last one?
Zay Flowers.
I mean that's easy for me.
Zay Flowers has a high floor.
I'm
but hasn't
keeping.
really
I'm
popped off.
keeping Nakua. Obviously, that's pretty obvious now with the Kirk Cousins news. I am going to trade Addison because he's been so dominant, and I'm cutting Flowers. That's pretty easy
Gotta
for
hope
me.
that Matt Stafford injury doesn't linger.
Yeah, but still, like just the production's been crazy for
Yeah, he gets
Nakua.
a-
Like Flowers' numbers aren't close to those two.
I'd love to argue with you, but I can't. Also because Jefferson. I mean, who knows now with Kirk out? Like,
Yeah,
That's
they
why
might
that
not
made
like-
it
I don't
easy
know
for
how
me.
long he'll be out, but like if
Yeah.
if he comes
I
back
don't
week
know
12 or
about
something, because I'm thinking like long term, like if I got to start someone in playoff matchups, weeks 14 through
Yeah.
17, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Nakua as well. Trade Addison, cut Flowers. Flowers has a high floor. He gets like 3 or 4 catches every game for like 40 to 60 yards, but like he hasn't had
It's
a
just
blow
not
up
there.
game,
He
and the
just
way
doesn't
that
have what the other
the
two
way
have
that
been doing.
offense is built
Yeah,
and the way
that
it's working
good
right
game
now.
in London, but other than that.
Yeah, I mean Lamar spreads the ball around and they make their bread and butters in the ground. So
That's another reason
I'm
too. They
agree.
could just win a game with barely even passing the ball, and still Mark Andrews is the number 1 target there.
yeah.
All right, last question from Austin.
All right, Austin, what do you got?
If Rodgers comes back to the Jets this season and they get a wild card spot, do they make a Super Bowl push or is it just another first round exit?
Well, to say another first round
Yeah, I
exit
mean,
doesn't really.
it's been a while for them.
You're giving us a lot of credit. I can't
No,
even tell
no,
you what.
I added that just like because of like Rodgers.
Here, look, can the Giants fan and Jets gear talk? This Jets defense is legit. If Rodgers was healthy the full season, they're a top team in the AFC.
Oh, yeah.
They're a top team in the league. Now, if he comes back like week 17 or 18, man, it's Aaron Rodgers, so you know he could be Aaron Rodgers again. I just find it so tough to believe that he can come back from an Achilles that quickly and lead him to a Super Bowl.
Especially with the Russ, too.
Yeah, I mean, the defense is loaded. Rodgers is Rodgers, but in that loaded AFC, like, can I expect him to go into Arrowhead? Can I expect him to beat Joe Burrow? Can they beat Josh Allen in Buffalo if it came to it? Like,
well,
something
who's
like
to say
that.
they're not coming to us?
I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, but they're also
Can't
not
forget
winning the
about
division.
that.
Like Miami's
We do
in the lead right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
I
We
think
still play
Buffalo-
Miami twice, though.
I know. Can they make a Super Bowl run? I say not this year. Can they be competitive? Absolutely. I think next year is their year.
Yeah, I think like at this point, like we'd obviously have to get there, but I think with Zach Wilson, we still can win that wild card. I mean, Vegas has got our line at 8.5 wins right now, so we're on the uptick, and our schedule gets.
It is a loaded AFC though.
Our schedule isn't crazy though
But
down the stretch.
with Rodgers is the question. So
Well, we got to get there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I know. But if you did like,
if we get there,
obviously.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, we could make the Super Bowl.
I mean,
I don't really
there's
want to
a lot
predict
of
it. 'Cause
teams that-
it's hard to predict it because I don't know what Rodgers is gonna look like.
That's true.
So I'm
'Cause
not
he's
gonna.
obviously it's gonna be tough for him.
I'm not gonna. I'm just worried about at this
But-
point actually even getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, because you got to
So-
you got to think.
I don't want to make all these hypothetical predictions when there's a chance we don't even make it. So.
I don't think they're going to beat out Miami or Buffalo in that division, right? Baltimore is in the lead in the North.
I mean, you never know.
Jacksonville's going to
The
win
Bill.
South.
There's nothing about the
Kansas
Bills
City's
have
gonna
shown
win.
this year that makes me think that they're that much better than us.
I don't know.
They're
I mean,
streaky,
but they got to
So
compete.
streaky.
With
For-
what they did to Miami, though, it's scary.
But
But then what the Jets
Yeah,
did to
yeah,
them, and
I
like
know.
they hung around with you guys, and like I don't know. There's nothing about that Bills team's way too streaky for me to say they're definitely better than us.
the
right
wild
now.
card hunt right now.
And the Dolphins too. It's hard to just crown them. Every game that they played a team that like, oh, who's gonna win? They lose, and every game they're supposed to do, they've won. We'll see how they do against the Chiefs this week. I mean, if they get blown out by the Chiefs this week, are we gonna really be like,
Is that
oh,
game in Arrowhead?
no, it's in Germany.
Oh, that's right. It's
Germany.
9:30 a.m. Wake up,
One of,
watch
like,
a little
one-
Germany
one-
ball.
They got like the freaking best game of the week, the first game.
No, it's a loaded
I
slate.
do love it.
Because
I'm
you have-
fine with
yeah,
that.
but you have
though.
Bills Bengals
I'm fine
at
with
night
that,
though. That's a great
yeah,
game
I'm
too.
totally fine with that
Like
being it.
with all the stinkers we've had.
There's
on
a lot of
Sunday
good
Night
games this
Football, I
week.
would have so much rather that just be like one of like the terrible Sunday night football
Yeah.
games.
Well,
we've
we
had to
got
watch
we
this
got the
year.
Bengals, Bills Sunday night, Jets, Chargers Monday night, Thursday night's all right. Steelers, Titans.
Now,
Pretty good slate of the for the games this week.
Yeah, the AFC wildcard race right now is shaping up.
So
Buffalo
tight.
5-3, Jets 4-3, and then you got the 3 North teams behind Baltimore: Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati.
I'm still not going to count out
4-3.
the Titans or the Texans. Yet.
Titans 3-4,
Or the Chargers,
Houston
for that
3-4, Chargers 3-4.
That's true.
It's such a tight race right now. You just got to keep winning.
Yeah.
All right. From Max, we've got Leonard Fournette gets signed to the Bills. Does this just bounce Murray out of the rotation, or does this? We kind of talked about this. So does this hurt James Cook?
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt
basically
James Cook.
highlighted it.
James Cook has his own role that it's not going to hurt his touches. It hurts Murray's touches, potential short yardage. Leonard Fournette's a better receiver than Murray, but I mean, Fournette was very inefficient last year. He did not run the ball well, granted, behind a bad offensive line. So I don't know, dude. I don't know what to think. I don't know if it's just a depth signing or I don't really know how big of a role
I'd just
he's
say
going to
this
have.
is a wait and see type of thing. Like I'd stash him in fantasy and just see what happens.
Okay. He also, with the season being halfway through, let's hear your modified playoff predictions and what you think draft order will look like. Top 5.
I love this question. All right, we were just talking about the AFC. Let's stick with the AFC.
Just go to NFC.
I still think the Chiefs get the 1. They're 6-2. I like Baltimore to get the 2. They're 6-2.
I actually disagree with you there because they just have such a tough
Also-
division right now.
Can I finish, bitch? Thank you.
Are you kidding me? What are you calling bitch? You're wearing Jets shit right now.
Yeah, it's terrible. Jags are 6-2. I'm gonna go with Miami in the 3 and Jacksonville to 4. So my preseason, I had those 3 division winners. Besides the East, I had Buffalo. I actually didn't have Miami making the playoffs, so that was my one fuck up. I had the Jets. I had the Jets making the playoffs.
In fairness, that's not
you'd
that's
also
not.
get,
That's also not a complete fuck up yet.
It's not a complete fuck up yet, but
Like
they stand
they
6-2.
they still have a lot
Also,
of
we
tough
didn't
games
anticipate
left.
Rodgers tearing his fucking
Yeah,
Achilles.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I had the Chargers in, which I don't think they're gonna. I mean, they're 3-4.
Like,
Who knows?
you know Miami's schedule out. I'm just saying. Let me just tell you the teams they play before you can call it a complete fuck up. They still got to play the Chiefs, Jets twice, Titans. They still got the Cowboys, Ravens, Bills again. Like it's not like they
That's
have,
a very difficult
like,
schedule.
I mean, then they got like a Commanders game, but that's on the road mixed in there, and the Raiders. So they have two.
That is a
like,
tough schedule.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like they'll probably make the playoffs, but like
I don't know. Buffalo could still win that division.
That's what I'm saying, and so can the Jets too. We still play Miami twice. Like I know it's. We've been playing tough.
I just think
so.
it's tough for the Jets to win that division with their offense.
No, I agree,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna
right.
count them out. We're still in the thick of things.
So I'm gonna go Miami, Buffalo. One of them wins. The other one gets a wild card.
Yeah, if I was saying, I'd think Buffalo's
Now
better
I
than
need
Miami.
I need 2 wild cards now. I mean Pittsburgh's tough.
a lot of
because-
gross offenses out there with good
Well,
defenses.
I mean obviously Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati.
but I mean the
making it.
Jets, Steelers, and Browns are
And then
very
it's,
similar
and then
teams.
it's Jets, Steelers, Browns for that last spot for me right now. I had the
Chargers, too, you
Chargers.
could
They're
say.
1 game back. I had the Chargers preseason. Do I just stick with the Chargers? I don't know, dude, because Pittsburgh's offense is so bad. The Jets' offense is bad. Cleveland's offense is bad, but all 3 have elite defenses that like they're all gonna be competitive in every game. It's tough to pick that last one. I know you're picking Jets.
I am, yeah. But also the Chargers have a tough schedule still too. I mean, they still got to play the Chiefs, Bills, Patriots in New England, so that's still a tough game. Baltimore, Lions, Jets. So I mean, they still got a lot of tough games.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh. I think Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons. I think they're gonna win at least 8 games. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh. I don't love it though. That's tough.
Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna go Miami, Buffalo, Jets, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Kansas City, and I will throw in Cleveland.
Yeah. What do you think of Ravens over 9.5? You think that's gonna hit now?
Safe to say yes. I guess you never know. But yeah, my gut tells me yeah.
It's a Milky Mile.
Yeah, I mean I got 4 more wins and I'm done. So we'll see. And then on the NFC side, I'll make
Let's take a quick break and we'll get back to the NFC.
All right, yeah.
side.
Let's go to a quick ad read and we'll hear from one of our sponsors and yeah, we'll come back and finish off with the NFC. What's up, guys? I'm just here to give you guys a message. Masterpiece Designs. That's the message. See these shirts here behind me? That's from Masterpiece Designs. That's from Masterpiece Designs. So we're sponsored by them. They've been helping us out making all of our merch, and I want for you guys to go check them out on Instagram. That's Masterpiece Designs 2023, so they're there. As well as they got a website. They're making a ton of merch, so if you guys want to get stuff made like we are, they'll do it. They're really quick on the turnaround. They work with you, very personable, so they do exactly what you want. Highly recommend them, so go check them out. Thank you.
Welcome back in, everyone. Now let's finish up Max's question. Reagan, who do you got in the NFC making the playoffs?
Well, for me, it's pretty clear. There's 4 really good teams in the NFC. Or no, 5. 5 really good teams. So for me, my lock-ins are the Eagles, Cowboys, Lions, Seahawks, and 49ers. And then my 2...
I agree with all those.
And the division winner for me, I'm still sticking with the Saints out there. I mean, you laugh, but
I mean, you got to stick with them, and
laugh,
they're still winning.
I'm gonna stick with Atlanta. They're both 4-4. They're both ugly the way they do it. I mean, Ritter just got benched.
yeah, Falcons got some.
Finally,
Falcons got an injury too with Jared, so I don't know how they're gonna look. I know it's not gonna affect the whole thing, but I could see that team. I can honestly see them both making it, though. I will say that
one could be a wild card.
Such an easy schedule right now, and like outside of that, like there's not one team that screams they're gonna come take that 7 seed. Like if you think about it.
Well,
could it be Washington?
Well, think about it. We just said 5 guys are. We said 5 teams are in, and one of them's going to be the 6th. So for that 7th spot, you got one of those 2 at 4-4.
Yep.
Minnesota at 4-4, but now no Kirk Cousins. So
yeah,
I find
I'm out on Minnesota.
I'm out in Minnesota.
And that's, you got to think about it also. Are the Saints going to be like, you know what? The Saints are going to be competing with the Vikings for one of those spots. So what's really making them go and trade Jameis Winston to a team that could be fighting them for one of the playoff spots?
It's a good point. That's a good point. You know, you're trading in.
So to me, it's Rams, Bucks, Saints/Falcons, Vikings, or Washington. And I think...
God, that 7 seed is wide open, and none of these teams really have a chance to do anything in the playoffs. Like, let's be honest, dude.
I think I might take Washington just because of how good Sam Howell's looked.
Nah, that offensive line is really bad. That secondary is bad. I don't know, dude.
Yeah, well,
and they still got to play.
Man. I mean, you could submit.
They have played Philly twice though already.
I know, and they're just. I really like Sam Howell. I mean, I don't know.
I don't like Riverboat.
I don't know if there's exactly
a good bad coaching.
I don't know if there's exactly a good team to say right now. Like every team you say, you could make a case. Like there's probably more cases to say that they won't make it.
In like 5 or 6 weeks, you're gonna be like, "Why'd I pick this team?"
Like the Rams are the Rams are a fun team, but now Stafford has the thumb. Who knows?
And that's another team with a bad offensive line.
Bad offensive line, like not a great defense.
No run game right now.
No run game. You know they're one dimensional. Throw the ball to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua.
So I mean, you could say Atlanta or the Saints. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Washington for now. We'll revisit this in a while.
Jeez, dude, this is so tough.
So I'm saying you're like, I don't know about Washington because the line.
God, it makes me sick because the Giants blew the game.
You still could say the Giants
and blew it to the Bills. They could be 4-4 and right there, controlling their own destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so sickening. It's so sickening.
I mean, they're still not dead, man. Still not dead.
They're still not dead.
I mean, when you look at it,
they're making it way more painful.
They're 2 games out of a wild card right now. Like it's.
You're right. I could totally see Atlanta and New Orleans like fighting for the division and both schedules. Being around like 9-8, 8-9, and both of them getting in.
Because they both have very easy schedules. The Bucks too. I mean, the Bucks are 3-4. They have one less
3-game losing streak. Tough for the Bucks. Yeah. I mean, man, that's tough.
All right, who is it? Let's hear it.
I'm gonna go. I think both the Falcons and Saints make it, but I don't think the Saints win 10 games. So I think my bet heads against you.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, what do we got next?
Well, the second part of his question, just give me your like a quick rundown of who you guys think the top 5 picks in the draft is going to be.
Well, I think 3 guys are 100% locks. I was actually listening to a podcast.
No, I thought he meant teams.
Yeah, not players.
Oh, players.
We could do that after, but...
Well, I could say players, too.
For teams...
Carolina, which goes to Chicago.
Yep, Chicago, which goes to Chicago.
Arizona's 1-7. I think Arizona's going to be top 5.
3.
Right now, technically, the Giants are picking 4, but they also their schedule softens up, and I think they're going to be good enough to win like 6 games, but I don't think they'll be top 5.
It really depends on Daniel Jones' health, to be honest, because if he
they're also getting Andrew Thomas back.
If he re-aggravates that neck, then they're going to shut him down.
Aggravates that neck.
Re-aggravates that neck. That darn neck is screaming. So it depends on that, but I really can't see them being a bottom 5 team.
Okay, so we're Arizona, Chicago, and
the Panthers.
The Panthers we all agree on, right?
Yeah.
How about New England?
I can't put them there, man. I really just can't.
You can't? They're 2-6.
I can't, dude. I can't. I just can't see a Bill Belichick-led team being bottom 5. I'm not going to do it.
It's possible.
I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to do it.
What about Denver? They're 3-5. They just beat the Chiefs, but they've been a train wreck.
The AFC is so freaking good right now. I'm going to go with the Colts. I know they've been playing well.
The Colts?
But they're bleeding points all over the field right now.
Their defense is getting exposed.
Their defense has just been letting up points like crazy. I'm not sold on Gardner Minshew by any stretch, so I'm going to go with the Colts, and then I'm going to go, just because I can't see it being 5 NFC teams, and I also just can't see it being New England. So I'm going to go with the Colts, and...
I like New England picking like 4th or 5th.
I feel like Green Bay's good enough to get a couple out. And you know what? I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I think they're gonna continue to lose.
Right, they slide
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go New England, and I'm gonna go Denver, but one that my mind could change tomorrow because if the Titans trade Derrick Henry, I might go Titans.
They might not. I mean, it seems like they got something in Levis. They might just be like, let's see what we got this season.
Yeah, because I mean, just a week ago, Hopkins was on the trade deadline.
Yeah, and now you don't want it. Now you're
like, fuck, we don't want to trade him.
Yeah, because you trade like Levis looked like that, and then you trade Henry and Hopkins, and then he's gonna not look.
Yeah, but maybe a Super Bowl contender's like, wow, we just saw Hopkins be vintage Hopkins. Let's go.
Yeah,
get him.
no,
that's true.
But then you make a good point though, because you just saw what you had in Levis. Do you want to fuck up his development
look at the
trot out Traylon Burks?
Let me just tell you their next 5 games. Steelers, Bucks, Jags, Panthers, Colts. So it's not like they have outside of the Jaguars, every other game is a very winnable game.
Yeah, nah, those are all games that
they go 4-1, 3-2 in those games. I mean, they're 500 then because they're 3-4 right now.
Yeah, no. I was just saying like a dark horse type of thing. I'm not picking them top 5. I'm saying dark horse if the chips fall.
No, I'm just saying like that's what makes me think they're not going to trade either guy.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Because if the deal's right, you got to take it. So.
All right, and last from him.
Wait, can I go players real quick?
Yeah.
Just because we brought it up. So I was listening to Jordan Reed and Matt Miller today, and Jordan Reed.
May will probably be like 2.
Jordan Reed said,
actually,
he's a huge ESPN draft guy. He's like,
who? Jordan Reed?
Yeah, he's
like the old tight end.
No, he's a scout. But he was like, I'd be absolutely floored if the first 3 picks weren't not necessarily this order, but these 3 players. Caleb Williams, quarterback USC, Drake May, quarterback UNC, and Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver Ohio State. Those seem to be the best 3 players. Then Olu Fashanu, the left tackle for Penn State, he's a stud. Ooh. He's up there, but also Joe Alt, the tackle from Notre Dame, is up there. And then the best defensive player is Dallas Turner, edge rusher from Alabama, who is basically... Last year he played opposite Will Anderson. Now he's basically taking that Will Anderson role, and he's been really good, former 5-star recruit, and he seems to be the best defensive player. And then you also have a guy like Brock Bowers that could sneak his way in just because,
with the injury, it's hard to...
Yeah, but that won't affect his draft status. He's been the best tight end in college football for
No, I know.
Now.
It's not. I don't think it's going to affect it, but I also don't think it's going to help him get into that top 5.
Early in the college football
it doesn't
season,
matter.
We saw
the injury doesn't matter
Jared
for him.
Verse from Florida State up there in the top 5.
I'm just saying he's losing out.
But like for a player like a tight end to get picked top 10, like Kyle Pitts, got to be an absolute unicorn. And Brock Bowers is a tight end that will take a fucking speed sweep and score from 50 yards out. Like their comp for him was George Kittle, but he doesn't block quite as well as George Kittle yet. But that was their comp for him, just the build he has in the athlete. So those are the top names to keep an eye out on and watch the rest of the year.
All right, guys. Bo Nix.
Like the 20.
You could tell this guy does not watch college ball.
We'll just throw out some other names. The guy that lit up.
Michael Penix?
No, Penix. Yeah, we'll throw him in there. The Colorado State guy that lit up Travis Hunter.
Blackburn.
Everyone needs a goon on their team.
I think what was his name? Well,
something like that. Yeah, we'll throw him in there because goons are hard to find in the league. So if you can get one in the top 5, that's gonna send the message out there. You want him.
That's fucked.
What?
Well, he went bowling with Travis Hunter.
Yeah, they're cool now, but like you want a goon on the field. Maybe if the Giants had some more goons yesterday, you guys would have won.
Team need goon.
That's their draft board.
This team just really needs a goon out there to get him over the top.
Shador Sanders.
We'll throw some. I'm sure there's a good MAC player out there. We'll throw one of them in there.
Shiloh Sanders.
Wait, actually, on a serious note, I have one more guy. Keon Coleman, wide receiver for FSU.
Oh, beast.
Transfer.
I don't think he'll be top 5, but
he could be. He's climbing up draft boards. He could be.
Well, he's a freak athlete.
He's probably top 10 freak athlete. He's 6'4". He actually played football and basketball at Michigan State, and then transferred because he had no quarterback. And now look what he's doing at FSU. He's an absolute he hurdles motherfuckers.
And he's
massive. He's 6'4", and he's their punt returner. I mean, usually you think of a small, shifty guy as your punt returner. Yeah, he's extremely athletic. That's another name that's flying up draft boards. But yeah, Reagan, your list is probably pretty accurate.
Let's get we'll get one more guy in there. Oh man, there's so many.
Johnny Langan, 6-year tight end at Rutgers, former quarterback.
Yeah,
another Jersey stud.
Yeah, who's Rutgers quarterback again?
Wimstad.
Oh,
yeah, we'll throw him in there.
Oh, yeah, Sims.
Get the local kid in the top 5.
Wimstad isn't even draft eligible after this year.
Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. All right, let's move on.
All right, so last from Max, we got 2 start bench cuts, so we'll run through them real quick. Waddle, Devonta Smith, and Cooper.
Cup?
Amari.
Amari.
I just said Cooper, so
I'm going to go with
I
Amari
would imagine
Cooper.
it would be Amari.
Because he's in that same category.
Yeah.
All right, Waddle, Cooper, and Smith.
Start Waddle, bench Smith, cut Cooper.
I'm going to go with start Smith, trade Waddle, and then cut Cooper. Because right now, look, Cooper was an easy cut for me just with his quarterback. And you can go either way with Smith or Waddle, both high-powered offenses. I prefer
both wide receiver 2s on their own team,
Yeah.
wide receiver 1s most places.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing with Smith that made me hesitate was last year from like week 10 on, Smith was the number 1, and he was
That's
insane.
why. And I think
but right now, A.J. Brown's on a historic stretch.
you got to think teams are going to start to
And A.J.
adjust.
Brown complains when he doesn't get all the targets.
And I feel like Smith's got better days ahead for Smith. So, but either way, Smith and Waddle.
You go
are the same
Smith. You
tier.
can't go wrong.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
All right, and next we got some running backs: Jonathan Taylor, Bijan, and Pollard.
Well,
You know,
hasn't
Pollard
done much
has
for fantasy this
Pollard.
year.
I saw
He's
been-
definitely
he
not returning on that draft
leads the
capital.
league in most consecutive touches without a touchdown with 127 touches.
Yeah,
What a
Which-
sick
Which
stat.
everyone, I don't know. I saw that on Twitter. I
only
just remembered
scored,
it. My
twice
fucking
in
encyclopedia
one,
at my
and
dome.
then-
The one week I said he was going to be the best fantasy player. It was his best game.
Yeah, it's interesting because everyone
enough.
thought, no Zeke, right, who snanked a lot of touchdowns at short yardage, but like Pollard's not getting in from there.
No.
I mean, when they score, they're throwing the ball.
Yeah, he hasn't really had an incredible amount of opportunities on the goal line.
Who was the first one? Taylor?
Taylor and Bijan
Yeah.
were the other two.
I'm gonna start Taylor, bench Bijan, cut Pollard. I like Bijan's receiving upside, but like the quarterback, it's well documented. This podcast hates Arthur Smith and the Falcons.
Oh yeah,
But he does add the PPR upside. It's tough because Pollard could go off at the back end of the year. I don't know.
And yeah, for daily fantasy, Pollard's a trade for candidate for me. I'm actually going to keep Pollard because I think better days are ahead. This offense is clearly much better than the other two right now. Although, the Colts are putting up points, but I think the Cowboys offense
Now the only
is
problem with the
significantly
Colts is
better.
how much longer is Zach Moss going to be snaking
Yep.
touches?
So I don't think it's going to be that much longer. So I'm going to trade Taylor and I'm going to cut Bijan just because I really don't like this Atlanta offense. We'll see how it looks with Heineke, but I just hate
I think it's
that.
going to look better with Heineke.
Yeah, but so I just
can't
don't
look much worse.
No, it
Yeah.
can't. It's just and the fact that Algiers still so involved, I don't love that. So, but I also don't like it for Moss and Taylor either. But Pollard's the guy getting all the work right now. He doesn't have that second back snaking him, and he's on the better offense. Better days ahead for Pollard. If you can get him for cheap, I would definitely go out and get him.
Okay, Evan Bordeaux asks, are the
Bordeaux.
Bengals primed for a turnaround after the offense got back on track this weekend?
Well-
I don't know so. How far do you guys see them going?
Well, you just heard from Colin what he's got. He's got him like Super Bowl bound.
They're winning the fucking Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is back. And when Joe Burrow is healthy and he's scrambling for first downs like that, his calf is 100% back. They beat the hell out of the Niners. I have full faith in this offense to get cooking, and this defense has played really well. The young DBs are starting to find their groove. Lou Anarumo is one of the best DCs in football. We saw it happen in the last couple years where they started off slow and went on a fucking heater. Bengals about to go on a heater, and Joe Burrow is not afraid of Mahomes and Arrowhead. We have seen him go in there and beat him. So I think the Bengals can make a sick run. I actually still have them winning the Super Bowl, even at 4-3. Book it. I should place that bet. What am I doing?
Go for it.
Those odds are probably juicy right now.
Oh, yeah. Get them when
Wow.
they're low.
I'm doing it.
I still see the Bengals as a playoff team. I don't know. I don't see them Super Bowl good, but if they're in the AFC Championship, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But
Good. It shouldn't be.
All right. And
We've seen it.
Let's we'll finish it off with,
That's a tough guy response.
with Jared
Wow.
Crampton. He's got a bone to pick, and I'll say it how he probably was typing it. I have a question for that four-eyed fuck on the left. Is my money a fucking joke to you? I trusted the Around the Felt boys to cook me up a fryer leg, and 3 out of 4 legs did just that. I'm demanding an apology, or Matilda dies.
Wow. You're going to threaten my dog?
That's fucked,
Or are you
man.
threatening Joe's dog? You didn't specify
No,
what Matilda.
hey, 5-1, baby.
So the Around the Felt parlay this week fell just short.
Yeah, we went 3-1.
Joe's leg hit in the first half. My leg hit in the first half. Drock's hit ever so slightly, but it
But
hit.
it hit. That wins a
And
win.
then, this four-eyed fuck to my right
Yep. Put the
decided to bet
glasses
on
just to
Hollywood
fit the
Brown
part.
with Josh Dobbs at quarterback, and
20
we all
yards
lost
short.
money.
20 yards short. So,
I mean, that's
and the
actually
worst part
good
about it
amount.
was, I don't know if anyone was watching, but he had one where it would have been the 20 yards to get us it, and his feet were just out, too.
Damn.
But, yeah, I'm sorry, Jared. don't kill my dog, so I'm going to apologize. Or if you're talking about Joe's Matilda, I'm sorry as well. I don't want any Matildas getting harmed.
No Matildas were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Like we've been saying, bet responsibly, so I hope you're doing so.
Hey, we're still up. We're still up.
Unlike you, I know Jared's money isn't a joke to me, so I give him buy or lay advice. You don't give him the best picks, clearly.
Jared, I'm sorry. You should just be taking Joe's individually at this point.
Yeah, really.
That's on you for not taking Joe's.
You'd be up a lot if you just tailed me.
But if you have been taking the parlay every week, you'd be up 7 units, so you can't get too mad. It just sounds like you're greedy at this point.
We're up 7 units, and 2 of the legs, like 2 of the parlays, just missed by 1 leg ever so slightly. We could be up so much.
Yeah,
we're up 7 units, so it just sounds like Jared's getting a little greedy.
Yeah, a little greedy bastard.
Anything else, or that's it for today?
That's all we got for questions.
All right, well, we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we decided to do a trade deadline special with the deadline tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
So we're going to give you guys, what we decided is we're going to give you an extra podcast.
Extra podcast, because we love you guys so much. We just want to give you more content.
Yeah, so we're going to do the recap tomorrow, so we can also get tonight's Lions-Raiders game in there. So 3 podcasts this week, because we love you guys so much.
A little holiday treat.
But you know what that means?
A holiday treat.
3 days of Colin wearing a Jets.
I didn't even think about it. I got to wear this shit for 3 days.
He agreed to it.
Oh, just give me a jersey that's not an extra small.
Don't worry. I got plenty of Jets jerseys. You want Bell? You want Darnold? You want Sauce? We got them.
Oh, I want Darnold.
Curtis Martin?
Happy Halloween for all you listeners out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's Halloween tomorrow.
Shit. Guess we're going to have to, open the garage and
get some candy?
Get some candy. See if we can get some little kids to walk in.
Yeah, we should record with the garage open tomorrow and little trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. Would you guys comment below if you'd like that.
Reagan, you're going to wear a little costume for...
Well, fuck.
Yeah,
I know Colin's wearing a costume.
You should dress up like a sexy nurse for the pod
tomorrow. Oh.
Fuck.
A naughty schoolgirl.
I clearly already got the sexy naughty part down. I just gotta get.
You already got the 4 eyes going.
Oh, so a nerdy sexy nurse. Oh, wow.
Maybe Colin needs some help with his homework. Stay in class.
Oh shit! All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, trade deadline. What's up, guys? It's Colin here. Thanks for tuning in to Trade Deadline Special. If you haven't done so yet, check out my blog on the Around the Felt Sports website, aroundthefeltsports.com. I list my top 15 trade candidates and potential fits. So if you haven't done so, please check that out. And now let's get back to the episode.
All right, guys, welcome back in. We're going to get right into the trade deadline talk because, as you know, it's at 4 p.m. tomorrow because we're recording this on a Monday. So there's a lot of names that we want to float around because, there's going to be a lot of teams that are buying, a lot of teams selling.
Let's talk about those teams, Reagan. Who do you think are clear buyers before the trade deadline?
I'd say a lot of those middle of the pack teams right now that it's like that are kind of deciding hey, do we think we have Super Bowl aspirations here and we need that extra push? I mean, you already saw Seattle do it with Leonard Williams. I see them being a team that could be buying even more because clearly if they're willing to give up a second-round pick next year, that's an all-in type of move to me. So I can see Seattle being a buyer. I think a team like Cleveland and Pittsburgh that are kind of on the fringe right there with good defenses could be buyers trying to improve those offenses a little more, get them another weapon.
Philly's a clear buyer in my mind.
Philly's
They've already gotten Kevin Byard. I think they're not done. I think they're going to make another move.
I mean, yeah, Philly, Dallas.
I think Detroit's a buyer. They can
any of the big contenders you can make a case for.
I think Detroit can improve that secondary with Gardner Johnson's out for the season. They can make a move there. I like Baltimore. I think Baltimore adds another pass rusher.
I think they have to.
I mean, I think Jacksonville, their defense has been really good, but I think they could add a pass rusher because Trayvon Walker has the versatility where you can kick him inside, and he hasn't been very productive on the edge. So I think they can make a move, another team. And there's some other sneaky teams that can make a move like the Rams. They've shown, fuck them.
Yeah, they're definitely
picks.
not out. They're definitely not out by any stretch. I mean, to me, what are some sellers to you? I mean, to me, there's the obvious one.
Giants have already sold. I wouldn't be surprised if they sold again. They sold Adoree Jackson. Maybe they could trade him. Xavier McKinney, maybe in the last year, his deal. Paris Campbell, potentially. I mean, the Commanders seem to be sellers. It looks like they want to move one of those 2 edge rushers, either Chase Young or Montez Sweat.
Yep.
That's an interesting spot.
Well, it's I would imagine the Bears are got to be getting there.
I don't really know who the Bears have to sell. That's a value.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
The Cardinals definitely scream sellers.
Cardinals could sell. They could trade Hollywood, although that is Kyler's college teammate, so I would be surprised.
And if you get he's still young, and if you get a young rookie, if they do draft someone next year, there's They're going to be like, oh, we need a true number one. And I'm not saying Hollywood's a true number one, but he's definitely a good receiver in this league. So if they're one of those teams that, or even if they stick with Kyler, I mean, you go and draft Marvin Harrison next year, and you got Hollywood. That's a nice 1-2 punch plus Trey McBride.
Absolutely.
Although I'd say Ertz is probably going to be sold because.
But he's hurt right now. But
yeah.
They should trade him. Tennessee could be a seller.
Yeah,
they've already traded. They've already traded Byard.
They could do there.
Hopkins or Henry. I don't know because they are 3-4. They're not out of it, but they're not
Raiders
a team that can win the Super Bowl, and both players are old.
I think the Raiders could be sellers. It really depends if they go and beat the Lions tonight. I think that changes a lot for the Raiders because then they got the Jets and the Giants after that, and those are 2 winnable games for them as well. So
Denver could be a seller.
Denver as well, but they've won 2 straight. I mean, there's a lot of teams where it's like it really depends if the value's there for them and where they really see themselves going. Because a team like Denver, we would have said 2 weeks ago, they're definitely sellers. But you go and you beat the Chiefs like you just did. Are you really going to sell?
That's a good point. So let's go through some names, Reagan. This is from my article. I ranked the top 15.
Well, where can they read this article if they want?
AroundTheFeltSports.com. Check out the website. All of our material is up there, professionally done. It looks very clean. I love the website.
I agree. It does
All of our blogs
clean.
are up there. I got 5 blogs posted, so check those out.
I've read a couple of your articles on the toilet. I enjoy it when I'm taking a shit.
It is good.
Toilet content.
It is great toilet
content,
Or you could read it anywhere. It doesn't have to be on the shitter.
Also,
I guess when
just
I'm
so
eating,
everyone knows, we're recording this as the Monday Night Football game is going on, and we have Jahmyr Gibbs' first touchdown.
We do have Gibbs' first touchdown.
Driving right now.
They are driving
past the 50-yard line.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool. Live
first touchdown.
That first touchdown would be pretty nice. All right, number 15 on my list, Reagan, is a Jet. Carl Lawson.
Yeah, he's got to go.
It's been reported that they're definitely going to move him. Where do you think he could go, and what do you think you're going to get back for him?
I don't care what we get back for him. I just want to get rid of him in that contract. I don't think we'll get much back from him because I don't think we have any leverage at this point since we haven't been playing him. And he's disgruntled. Or he's not even disgruntled, but it's clear he wants to go. So I think we've lost a lot of leverage from that.
Yeah, the Jets have a lot of young players on that defensive line that are better than him.
It's the same with Dalvin Cook. Like, the production hasn't been there, and then the fact that they've been so open about wanting to leave, you lose all leverage you would have. So I think between Cook and Lawson, those are 2 guys we got to get rid of. I'd say
Cook didn't make my list, by the way.
Nor should he. He looks cooked. Like,
oh, Cooks looks cooked. That's a good one, bro.
I'm gonna keep saying that until he doesn't look cooked.
He is. No, he's cooked. He's done. I think Lawson is going to be one of those where, hey, we'll give you our 6th rounder. You give us Lawson in your 7th. And it's one of those where you just move up the board a little bit.
See, I feel like at this point, though, it's got to be an NFC team because the Jets definitely have playoff aspirations. So I feel like they'd be kind of silly if they're not going to get if they're not going to get much back. Like, go trade them to the NFC then. Like,
I have the Rams on here.
Yeah, that would be a team I could see.
I also have the Ravens, and I have the Chiefs.
Yeah, I can't see them trading them to the Ravens or Chiefs just because
they're not really competing. Those teams are like head of their divisions, though. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs, you don't really think trading Carl Lawson to the Chiefs is a problem. I don't think.
Probably not, but I mean, I'd say the Ravens more so would be a problem just because they're not like we're not locking the Ravens in as the division winner yet. The Chiefs were pretty sold on they're going to win that division. But the Ravens could be one of those teams where we're fighting them for a wild card come down the stretch.
Gibbs already has 3 catches, by the way.
Wow. Look at that.
Next on my list, Reagan, Adoree Jackson, New York Giant. He's 28 years old. His contract, he has $19 million on the books for this year.
Yeah, it's steep.
I could see another deal where, just like the Giants did with Leonard Williams, that they eat a lot of that money because they're already in the books for it. You know, they don't need to clear up that much space now. You're in season. You don't want to kick it down the road. If you can get a better draft pick, you're basically buying a better draft pick.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, any team that needs a cornerback that's a contender.
I got Buffalo, Miami, and Jacksonville.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a case for a lot of teams. I mean, Miami did just get Jalen Ramsey back, but Howard's been banged up, and do they really want to rely on both those guys?
But Jackson can play the slot as well. He's very versatile,
so
he's a valuable piece in the secondary.
Yeah, if they can make the money work, it would be a smart move for Miami.
Yeah, and the Giants, I mean, they can go full youth movement. Banks is already their number 1. He surpassed Jackson. Jackson's not played that well this year. Yeah. You have Trey Hawkins out of Old Dominion, who's a 6th-round rookie who has looked really good at times, but then he struggled at other times. And then you got Cordell Flott, 2nd-year player from LSU in the slot. So they can go full youth movement at 2 and 6. All right, next. Cortland Sutton, Reagan, 28 years old, and now he does have a tough little contract where next year, $17.3 million cap hit, but you can release him with only a $7.65 million dead cap hit. 2025, a $17.8 million cap hit with $3.83 million in dead cap. So I think there's no shot Cortland Sutton is under contract in 2025. I think he definitely gets released by then. But a team can hold on to him for 2024. Do you think he gets moved? Or do you think Judy gets moved? Or do you think neither gets moved?
My gut tells me neither gets moved. But if I had to choose one, I'd say Sutton because I feel like they're more likely to want to keep Judy because he's younger. But they would get more capital for Judy because he's younger.
I think their asking price is pretty high. I think last year for Judy was a first. I think Sutton was like a second.
I would imagine their asking price has got to be higher for Judy because the contract's not bad. He's younger.
Yeah, Judy's 24. That's my next guy on the list. Judy's 24. He's on the books next year for $13 million because that fifth-year option. So we'll talk about both receivers. Does one get moved? I mean, trade rumors have been swirling around these guys for like a couple years now. I think Judy needs a new change of scenery. I don't think he'll ever live up to his draft status in Denver. It's clearly not
in Denver. No, not in Denver. I mean, he still could if he gets traded to the right situation. But yeah, I think his time in Denver is, whether it's this year, there's no way he signs another contract with them.
So I have for Sutton my potential fits: Panthers, Bills, Ravens.
Panthers would be a good destination
because they're looking for a receiver very badly.
He needs a fresh start, I would
DJ Moore. Now for Judy, I have also the Panthers.
I think either would be a good one for the Panthers. Because they're not competing this year, but they could definitely use a wide receiver upgrade.
How about the Steelers for Jerry Jeudy?
I don't necessarily know if the Steelers' biggest need is wide receiver. I mean, I don't hate it, but
their offense is brutal.
Deontay Johnson's back. Pickens is good. Like, I don't know if they need another guy in there of that caliber. Like, I don't know if I think this offense has been struggling a lot because of the loss of Deontay Johnson, and Pickens is clearly coming into his own as a number one, and Deontay is definitely the number two. But I don't hate it because the offense is struggling, so to get another good wide receiver in there, it's not going to hurt them.
What about the Chicago Bears? I know they're not in a position to buy, but Judy's 24. He fits their timeline.
And they could take anything on. They could probably get Sutton too on the cheap.
They have a ton of cap space.
Or not on the cheap, but they could literally get a good draft pick and take on that whole contract.
Because DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney hasn't played very well this year. DJ Moore is like getting all the targets. He's the alpha.
Yeah, and Kmet too.
Kmet, yeah.
So yeah, I like Sutton, and I actually do really like Sutton going to the Bears because it makes sense. The Bears could take on all the salary and cap and get a good pick back.
Yeah. Next, I have another Bronco. Safety Justin Simmons, 29 years old. He's under contract next year for $18.25 million, but there's only $3.75 million in dead cap, so you can release him and clear about $14.5 million, which I think would be likely. Oh, they're kicking a field
goal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to say somebody else scored.
No, it's no one else didn't score.
All right. We're still alive. We're
still alive. Simmons is not the elite player that he once was.
Oh, sweet! I'm going to win one of my fantasy matchups too. If Riley Patterson makes this kick, I was only down.
He made the kick.
Oh, sweet! I just won a fantasy matchup. Nothing like winning a matchup on the pod.
What do you think about Simmons? He's not elite like he once was, but he's still a quality player in the back end that can help a Super Bowl push.
I mean, definitely. I mean, he's obviously been very controversial this year. He's been involved in a lot of roughing the, or not roughing the. What do you want to call? What do you call it?
No, it's Kareem Jackson. Kareem Jackson got suspended.
Oh, wait. I don't know why my mind said Kareem Jackson. Never mind.
That's just the other safety for
all right. That's it. Okay, so never mind about the controversial part. But, I mean, any contender that could use a safety, I mean, it makes sense.
I got Detroit on here.
It sucks because you wrote this article before the big win for the Broncos, so now it's like all my feelings are changing, where if they lost that game, it's like it's crazy the difference between a 2-6 team, and a 3-5 team.
But I'm sure Sean Payton's realistic about where this team stands. Like
I agree, but like you as a Giants fan, even you were like, if you guys won yesterday, you guys would be like, we're still making the playoffs. Now you're like,
it's interesting. If they won yesterday and they're 3-5, do they still trade Leonard Williams today?
Yeah,
I still think you take that offer though.
No, you do.
You still take that offer. I have the Niners as well because the Niners secondary has been getting kind of exposed the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, it really has been.
And I got the Bengals. The Bengals have a really young secondary, so having a veteran leader on the back end, Bates and Von Bell both gone after last season, I think that's a good spot for him as well. This one's another DB, but Jalen Johnson, 24 years old. Last year of his deal, he's been balling for the Bears this year. Now, I don't think they trade him, but after he had that big game against the Raiders, this was 2 weeks ago, where he had 2 picks, one for pick 6.
On primetime. Not on primetime.
But he did say, he tweeted, I should get paid. He wants to get paid. And the Bears
they can pay him, too. That's the worst part about it.
And he's 24 years old, and he's really starting to hit his stride and come into his own as a quality corner.
But if the deal's there, like, the Bears could just keep stockpiling picks.
Hey,
too.
They traded Roquan Smith last year. They didn't want to pay Roquan.
Yep.
And Roquan's one of the best linebackers in football. And then they went out and paid 2 linebackers a shit ton of money. So that's a conversation for another day. But could the Bears move off a 24-year-old corner if they get a second-round pick?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because it's hard to find quality corners at this time of the season.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if they didn't have the money, but they have the money, which makes it funny.
Now, what do you think? I got Dallas here. Dallas, obviously, since Trayvon
Diggs. Oh, shout out to Evan Shifko. I just got a text from him. His merch ready to be bought. Shifko, it's going to be coming. We're going to be posting on the website and setting it up for this Friday. That's the plan. So you'll be able to place your order soon enough. Trust me. As you can see, we got it here. So hopefully you like it. But yeah, and the hats are going to be coming out very soon. So just be patient because it's a-coming.
It's a-coming. All right, for Johnson, I have Cowboys. I have the Bills, which Tre'Davious White out. And I have the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, all those teams make sense because obviously, like you said, with the Cowboys, but are they going to be able, like, I don't know how they would pay him. I guess it would be a 1-year rental.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young player, though, so he could be a part of your future.
That is true, yeah.
You know, you can manipulate the cap. Next, now another one with the Titans winning. DeAndre Hopkins, 31 years old. He's on the books next year for $18.25 million with $7.85 dead cap if he were to be released. If they're going to go Levis the rest of the way, we kind of talked about this. Do you want him to have a guy like D-Hop to help him elevate his game and kind of mitigate the growing pains? Or do you take the offer in a 31-year-old wide receiver and try to rebuild?
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because he's only on a 2-year deal. So it's like you look at it like this, like you could trade him and get into a contender and probably get some good capital back, or you can keep him and have him there for Will Levis's first 2 years. I mean, clearly he's still got something left in the tank. We're not sitting here saying, like, he's not top 5 anymore, but I'd still say he's debatable top 20 receiver at this point. So it really depends on where they see this year going and what the effect it'll have on his growth. Because they do have Burks there too, so you could be like, we'll get rid of Hopkins.
It's not a bad 1-2 punch.
They could be like, we'll get rid of Hopkins. We want Burks to be that number 1 for Levis, and we'll take the capital. But,
now, potential fits, Reagan.
And there's a lot of them. There definitely
there
is.
Are.
I mean, the Panthers are a team, you could say, because they're looking for that number 1, but it doesn't really fit their timeline.
Chiefs.
Yep, they don't really have that true number 1.
That'd be a fun one. The Bills, to pair with Stephon Diggs. That now it was
that one I can't see as much.
Before the season, Hopkins almost seemed like he wanted to play for the Bills. Diggs wanted him there.
Yeah.
So I think that one's interesting. And how about the Ravens? They haven't had a receiver really, take over that number 1. I mean, if you talk about Flowers, he's been solid. Odell has been just a terrible contract.
I mean, it makes sense because the Ravens are a win-now team. The only thing with that is then it kind of affects Zay Flowers' growth, you could say. But, I mean, it makes sense. All those teams are contenders that really could use a weapon like that, especially the Chiefs, because their wide receiver core is bad.
It's very bad. I mean, Rashee Rice has looked pretty good as a rookie, but Sky Moore's been a bust. Tony's been a bust. I could see them making a move. How about Hollywood Brown, Reagan? We talked about him earlier. Could he be moved?
He's a young guy.
With Kyler coming back, he's 26 years old. It's the last year of his deal. So
one of the better speed threats in the league.
You can use him as a rental, or you can bring him in and try to extend him. Now, I have your New York Jets on here.
I was going to say that. I agree with that a lot.
I like it because it's a different type of receiver than what you guys kind of got.
Yeah, we have the big body in Lazard. We have Wilson that can kind of do it all, but he's not that huge speedster on the outside. So Brown brings us something that we wanted in Mecole Hardman we didn't get. I mean, I know they love the Xavier Gibson, but I mean, Hollywood Brown's a lot better than him. So we'll see. I wouldn't hate that by any stretch.
How about the Cleveland Browns?
Another team that could use him. I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones is not as good as what we thought he could be.
He's also a big body receiver. I think Hollywood would pair well with Cooper. And what about the Dallas Cowboys? Now, Brandon Cooks has kind of come on the last couple of weeks, but I'm not a big Gallup guy.
I don't hate it, but I just can't see. They already have their 3 guys, and they love. The thing is, we're not big Gallup guys, but they are. They love Gallup.
What about? I didn't put this one on here. What about the Chiefs? That'd be a fun one.
I don't hate it. I mean, for them, they don't really need the speed. Like, that's not one thing they're not lacking right now, but it's still an upgrade.
It is an upgrade. He'd be their number 1 receiver.
I could also see the Panthers, too. They're looking for that true number 1.
Panthers could be, because he's 26, so I think that one makes more sense than Hopkins.
Yeah, just because he kind of fits the timeline. And, well, I mean, I don't think he's number 1, but in that 6-game sample size, we saw him act as a number 1 for Kyler, so, I mean, he's still an upgrade over Thielen, so.
Yeah. Buda Baker, another Cardinal, 27 years old. This is the last year in his deal. Now, before the season, he did request a trade, and he said, if the Cardinals aren't going to make me the highest paid safety in football, trade me. They did not make him the highest paid safety in football, but they did give him a little bit of pay bump for this year. They didn't extend him. He did spend the first 4 weeks on IR. He's been pretty good since he came back, but I don't think Arizona, given the state of their roster, is going to pay a 27-year-old safety, not at a premium position. They have a lot of holes to fill. Maybe you trade him now, or maybe you wait and get a comp pick for him. But what do you think about Buda Baker potentially getting moved, and what are some fits that you like?
Team that comes to mind right off the bat is my Jets. We need a safety help bad, so I wouldn't complain with that. If they can make the cap work. Already stacked defense, getting a guy like that would be huge. Bengals, another team, Super Bowl caliber team. Could use a veteran guy like that.
I do like the Bengals.
Trying to think who else.
I got on here Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit could use it.
I got Dallas on here as well.
Yeah, you think they, yeah.
And I got Jacksonville.
Yeah, that'd be huge for Jacksonville seems like it seems to me like a lot of these teams want to trade him out of conference, but if the deal is right, you got to take it.
Yeah, well, I think with a team like the Cardinals, where your window's not going to open for a couple years, trading a 27-year-old safety, I just think in division doesn't happen, but yeah. I think you could trade him in the NFC. Another guy that we weren't sure was going to get moved, Danielle Hunter. Now, Vikings won, they're 4-4, but Kirk Cousins now out for the season, so that kind of tempers your expectations the rest of the way. He was going into this week the league leader in sacks with 9 and TFLs with 12. This is the last year of his deal.
Yeah, somebody's going to offer them a good deal.
He's
9 sacks already at this point.
Yeah. What do you think? Does he get moved? What are some fits?
I don't know, because now that they're 4-4, it's like I want to say no, but with the Kirk Cousins, all right. So let's say he does get moved.
I love the Ravens for him.
Ravens, yeah.
I love the Ravens.
Chiefs, I could see. Buffalo, just with all their injuries.
I got Buffalo on here. I also have Detroit to pair with Aiden Hutchinson.
Detroit, yeah.
But that is in division, which I think
but we've
is
seen it
very,
before.
I think it's unlikely, but last year, they T.J. Hawkinson.
So, is it that crazy? I would say Seattle's one of the teams I would have said, but now that they got Williams, that doesn't seem likely. Dallas, I could see just stacking that front even more.
I could see Dallas. Lining up DeMarcus Lawrence, Neil Hunter.
I would say Washington, but they seem like they're going to be sellers. I could see the Saints or Falcons making them. I could see the Falcons actually making a move.
I could like the Falcons.
Both teams that have playoff aspirations. There's just pretty much any team that's a contender that doesn't have a deep set of edge rushers, you could make a case for.
100%.
Because it's just such a premium position, and a guy that has 9 sacks,
and we have a lot of edge rushers remaining on this list.
There's very few teams that I can't see doing it at this point.
We're now getting to the top 5, Reagan, and at 5 is another edge rusher, Montez Sweat, 27 years old, final year of his deal. Now, the Commanders, it seems like they want to move one of these two, Sweat or Young.
And Young's on your list too, right?
Young is on my list as well, so...
Might as well talk about them both right now.
Yeah, we'll talk about Young. I have Young at 3 because Young is 24 years old. He's balled out this year.
Younger.
Yeah, he's younger. It's also final year of his deal. Young going into this week, I don't know if he had a sack this week, but he had 5 sacks and 6 TFLs before this week's game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Do you really see them trading both? You got to think
5.5 sacks.
You got to think one gets traded and the other one stays and gets a contract.
If I'm Washington, I'm trading Sweat and I'm extending Young because he's 3 years younger. And he's also shown coming off that injury that, he can be an elite player.
Yeah, his peak was also better. Chase Young before the injury was an animal.
He was an absolute animal.
So you're traded. All right, so where do you see Sweat going?
So for Sweat, I got Jacksonville, Atlanta, and I had Seattle, but now that they traded for Leonard Williams, it seems unlikely they'd give up the capital, although if you added Sweat to that D-line too, whew, I just don't know if they have the picks for it now. And then for Young, I had Atlanta, Jacksonville, and I love this one.
So we had it looks like a Reynolds fumble.
He fumbled.
Yeah, so Raiders, it looks like they're going to get the ball.
You know what I love? This is my favorite. This might be my favorite fit on this entire list. Chase Young to the Lions to pair with Hutchinson.
Wow.
That would be fun. 2 young stud edge rushers, and they have the cap space that they can extend him. They can't afford him down the
thing
line.
with the edge rushers is we could sit here and predict teams, but you could make a case for practically, I already said it before, but you could make a case for practically any contender What is that, a Lions pick now?
Lions just picked it in the end zone. Let's go.
All right. Well, we got a lot of turnovers.
Oh, all right.
Let's go.
I mean, you can make a case for any of these contenders, man.
Every team could use another edge rusher. The Eagles could fucking trade for an edge
that's
rusher.
what I'm
and you're
saying.
Like, they didn't need one, but just keep loading
The
up.
Eagles traded for anyone too. Like, we can't even be surprised anymore.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
seen what they
it
can
just
do.
it just seems to be so successful. Like when you can just keep rotating in these edge rushers and have them fresh for the fourth quarter, it's so huge at the end of games.
The fucking Chase Young in Detroit would be sick.
Yeah.
All right, at number 4 on my list, Derrick Henry, 29 years old, final year of his deal.
They missed the window though, so now it's gonna be.
They did the restructure window.
Yeah, so now that means he's gonna be full price.
Yes.
So it makes it less likely now. But if you're a contender that needs help in the running game, like a team like the Ravens.
Ravens, I have number
Gus
1.
Edwards seemed to be viable, but I mean, he ain't no Derrick Henry.
I have here talking about Howie Roseman. What if the Eagles just fucked around and traded for Derrick Henry?
Yeah, I saw
That would be
You
scary.
reunite AJ Brown and Derrick Henry with
That
Devontae
would be
Smith,
scary.
Jalen Hurts behind that O-line, bro.
Yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
trust me, Swift's been viable, but a 1-2 punch of Swift and Henry, that would be scary.
That'd be disgusting. I also have the Cowboys on here, too.
Cowboys to pair him with
Pair
Pollard.
with Pollard.
Yep, that would be scary.
That'd be a lethal duo.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, you could make a case for.
Apparently, Baltimore. It was reported last week. Baltimore was the most likely destination if they were to move him, but
I don't feel like he's going.
I almost-
you got to talk about it. You have to.
I almost feel like he's just gonna retire a Titan. I don't
Yeah.
know. Number 2, Devontae Adams. Now, if you've read my blogs, I did say potential Devontae trade destinations
seems like one of the
earlier in the
biggest
season,
names.
and he just keeps showing frustration with his lack of involvement in the offense, the direction of the Raiders. He's been very outspoken. He said, "I came here to play with Derek," and Derek was let go. Him and Rodgers have been flirting a little bit. Now, he does have a massive fucking deal. He's locked in for next year. There's no getting out of it for $25.3 million. Now, in 2025 and 2026, he has a $44 million cap hit. 2025, $15.7 million dead cap. So you would have to eat that money.
And you gotta rule out
2026,
teams-
$7.85 million in dead cap.
You got to rule out the teams like the Panthers right off the bat.
They're not incurring
Like,
that, yeah.
They're not gonna. It's gonna be a contender. There's no way he goes to a neutral or worse situation.
What about the fucking Niners, bro? That'd be the perk of having a quarterback that picked last overall.
That would be the perk.
They don't
I mean,
need him, but oh my goodness,
They
talk
get
about
him.
loading up.
That would be Super Bowl.
What
right
about
there.
the Lions?
You could hand them the Lombardi. Yeah, the Lions could use him.
Amon-Ra, Devontae with Jameson Williams, the deep threat. That offense
That would be
becomes
scary.
very disgusting. I also have Cleveland on here.
Cleveland, yep, they can make a move. I mean, that defense is legit. I mean,
Plus, we've mentioned Watson's cap hits go through the roof after this year, so
yup.
it'd be dicey.
Baltimore as well.
Baltimore would be sick.
There's a lot of Chiefs. I couldn't see them doing interdivision, but
Yeah, I won't see
just
it.
because I don't think the Raiders are done. Like, they're not giving up yet. Like, if they traded Adams, it's more because he's disgruntled and they just want to get him out of there and out of that contract and just reboot. Yeah, I mean, that'll be an interesting one. I really do feel like he gets dealt at the deadline, unless they have a shocking win tonight.
Yeah, if they lose tonight, I can see them moving Adams 100%.
Yeah.
All right, number 1 on my list, which I don't think is likely, but, it was floated around last year. Brian Burns, edge rusher for the Panthers. Now, if I'm the Panthers, he's probably your best player. He's 25 years old.
Oh, yeah.
He's still
And
young,
they supposedly turned down an offer of 2 first-round picks from the Rams last year for
Wow.
Burns. This is the last year that Burns is under contract, so they either got to pay him or trade him. I don't think they trade him, just to put it out there, but I put as fits Rams again if they wanted to get a little ballsy. They were that interested in him last year.
Yeah, because you got to have the cap space.
I had the I had the Seahawks, but Leonard
Not
Williams,
anymore,
he gave up
yep.
capital. And I keep going back to this one. The Detroit Lions to pair with Hutchinson, man. This is
be
your
scary.
opportunity to win the North for the first time in a while.
Honestly,
make a
yeah.
run. If you add Brian Burns
That
or
would be-
Chase
yeah,
Young,
that would
woo!
Man, wow. Yeah, because you got to think right away, like, whatever team, the team's going to have to be able to pay him, too, because you got to rule out the teams with
Yes,
no cap space.
you
'Cause
gotta pay him.
If you're paying that capital, you're not just, he's not a 1-year rental.
No,
He's
it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we'd like to
you
trade
get him
for
and then
Brian.
you instantly extend him.
You
too.
get on the phone with his agent, we're getting a deal done now, and you agree to a deal and make the trade.
Yep.
Like, as he gets traded, and he's agreed to a 5-year, $120 million extension.
Yeah, wow. What about the Chiefs? I don't know if they can make the money work.
Oh,
What
man.
about the Ravens?
Ravens, too.
Ravens
They
would be nice.
Any of those
Yeah,
teams can make the
Ravens.
money work. There's a lot of contenders that could use guys, especially the Ravens, because they don't really have that signature guy like the Browns and the Steelers got.
And we've
and
seen
the
him
Bengals.
we've seen him make a trade last year for
Yeah.
whatever, I forgot his name.
For who?
Who wears number 0 for him?
For the Ravens,
Roquan.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why his name.
No, I just didn't know what team you were talking about. But like,
yeah, they made a big trade last year.
Yeah, hey, the trade deadline in the NFL is starting to become a little bit more like the NBA. Last year we saw McCaffrey get moved and completely transform that Niners offense. We saw Roquan get moved and completely transform that Ravens defense. I mean, this seems like a lot of big names, and usually they don't get moved in the NFL. We don't expect it, but...
And the Bengals, they got Hendrickson. Steelers got Watt. Browns got Garrett. Ravens need that signature guy.
I like it because they have good young players that are coming into their own. But if you have an elite player like that, this defense gets really scary.
It's also going to make all those other players better around them.
That'll be interesting. Any other names you guys could see getting moved that we didn't highlight? I mean, Jameis Winston's got to be getting talked about now.
Jameis Winston,
I mean, I don't think he goes to the Vikings purely because the Saints are going to be looking at other teams. And also it's just becoming more evident that like having a good backup quarterback in this league is huge. So it's... Because then if they trade him away, then it's like, all right, I guess Taysom Hill's our starter if Derek Carr's to go down.
Yeah, and we've seen what Taysom Hill looks like when he's the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not the same player when he's running around as a gadget guy.
No, it is not. You got any names, Joe, that you're thinking you could see getting shipped?
Well, obviously Ryan Tannehill's a pretty big one.
Yep. That's a name you could see going to the Vikings too.
Before the Vikings won a few games, he was obviously a name, but obviously not anymore.
See, it's tough because a lot of teams are still in the thick of it. Like I don't see Tampa Bay. Yeah. I don't see Tampa Bay moving anyone.
That's what I was saying.
Could Green Bay move guys?
I don't know. I feel like Green Bay's still not giving up yet.
I think Jerry Jeudy is a big one.
Yep. Talked about him. Who else?
These are just the people that I think are going to get traded.
How about a complete surprise like Shaq Leonard from the Colts? A lot of teams need linebacker help.
Yeah,
that's just totally. I haven't seen anything. That's a total shot in the dark out of the blue.
How about a shot in the dark? Daniel Jones to the Vikings. No.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
I can see the Patriots trading someone, and then he goes to the other team and just completely sucks.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, could they trade Mac Jones?
No,
I don't think so.
No one's trading for Mac Jones. I think.
I
think we covered.
I'm sure teams would take it. I don't think they would do that.
I think we covered the big ones.
All right, yeah. So, guys, I'm good. You got anything else to say?
I'm good, yeah. That wraps up our trade deadline special. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the Week 8 games.
Yeah. Also, guys, merch will be coming soon, so keep checking out on the Instagram for that. We're excited, and we cannot wait to bring it to you guys.